Through the years of flying drones, when available, I have always bought the Fly More kit with the case. In addition to this, I've also bought the Aluminium Flight Case with the foam pick and pluck insert. I have always found that the flight case was a better option for storing my camera equipment or drones when at home. The ROC cases come in various sizes. These particular cases do come with a shoulder strap, and they've got a foam insert that is pick and pluckable. This will enable me to pick and choose the items that go in the case and be stored. These cases are available online through Maplin. I will leave a link in the description below for the case. The handle is made of plastic. The quick catch locking mechanism has padlock loops. The provided shoulder strap can be connected to the loops on either side of the case. All the outer edges of the case is made from alloy. The articulated hinge on the bottom of the case is protected by the 4 feet. The hinges and the locking mechanism is made from stainless steel. Egg box style foam can be found in the lid. The external size is 150 by 460 by 330 millimeters. The internal size is 87 by 442 by 310 millimeters. The foam is partially pre-cut. This will enable you to pull out the required shape for the equipment that you're placing inside the case. Spend a little bit of time moving the drone, remote controller, batteries, charger, leads to find the best solution for you. Over the years I have made mistakes when placing items too close. Because of the structure of the foam that you pluck out, the small cubes, you need at least 2 cubes between each of the items that you're going to fit. Anything less than that, there is the possibility of the foam collapsing because the wall thickness is not thick enough. Remember, take your time and have plenty of thought where your items are going to be. A long and short knife with a good sharp serrated edge is definitely well worth using. I know that the foam is pre-cut and you can pull out the required shapes. Using the knives to cut down each of the shapes in the foam will definitely work to your benefit. While preparing and checking the size of the hole that you're requiring, if you're unsure, make the hole a little smaller. It is more easier to remove the foam later than it would be to try putting it back. As with anything you do that you're going to cut, think twice, cut once. While you're cutting, you may want to pull back the foam a little bit to see where the line is where you're going to cut. What I have found in the past when I've done my cutting is to push the foam inward, not try to pull it out straight away. As you can see here, I'm teasing the foam out, not pulling it straight out. My first cut, I cut the foam to the depth of the case. Cutting the block of foam in half, I can replace the lower section back into the hole. This gives the drone a nice soft area to put the drone into to protect it, and it also raises the height of the drone so that the sponge in the lid can be placed on top of the drone, securing it. Remember, at least 2 squares from one item to the other. Not all the cuts are square. With the drone, it was a square hole. With the remote controller, there is some shape to it. Always check whatever you're going to fit in, the shape of it. If it's square, fair enough, a square hole. In the case of the remote controller, there are 2 handles on either side of the main body of the controller that needs to be cut out. As I've mentioned before, and probably will mention again, always push the foam inwards first, even though you're going to take it out. This is to ensure that you don't damage the foam on the top of the cutout. Because of the size of foam that's on the inside of the case, the joysticks rests on the top. If your joysticks go below that, you'll have to cut out for each of the joysticks. Also, take into consideration the larger items like the batteries, which are quite tall. Before you start, you could remove the foam, put the batteries in vertically to make sure that the case closes and is not too tight to the lid. Luckily for me, the height of the batteries is perfect for this case, so I can remove the phone that goes directly to the bottom of the case. The 3-bay charger that came with the Flymore kit was a little bit longer, so I had to place that on its side as shown. This time, after cutting the elongated hole out, it was a simple case of pushing the foam inwards and not removing it, as this gave support to the charger. With all the items that were remaining, which were the power adapters and propellers, I made a decision to cut one large hole out to put everything into. I did leave sufficient foam between the large cutout and the drone. This meant that I could add in another battery hole if I were to buy any more intelligent flight batteries, or use the area for any of the smaller items like the 12-volt charger. All the items that did come from the DJI Mavic 3 Classic and the Flymore kit fits into this case with no issues at all. Even though we took all the precautions necessary, it is possible to still damage some of the foam squares, or they come unattached. This does happen, and it doesn't matter how careful you are, sometimes you can split the foam squares. I did that just here, after using a fabric glue or super glue, using the foam there to support the join to push it together while it was setting. Using the glue that you've selected and a cocktail stick, try not get it on the top of the foam but in where the join of the two squares are. Leave the join supported until the glue dries. Making this case is pretty straightforward and easy to do. It now gives me the option to store my items while at home in the case and using the DJI case when going out filming on location. There are a good number of cases available for the Mavic 3 Classic. These can be found on either eBay or Amazon. Personally, I do like this method with the flight case, as it gave me more control on positioning and what I had inside the case. I hope you found this video of use to you. Thank you for watching, and you fly safe.